voice is coming to you? Is audible? All
Yes,
of you,
sir.
please
Yes.
tell me. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So as you know, in yesterday's session, we have discussed about the object-oriented programming concepts in Python. Okay, means how we can create the object, how we can create the classes, how we can add different type of variables, or how we can means add the different type of methods. That was the agenda yesterday. And then we have seen how we can develop the method overriding, or how we can use method over, or how we can take the benefit of the method, means method overriding or inheritance. Okay, so that we have covered yesterday. So for today's class, our agenda is to see the exception handling. What are the exceptions? What is the meaning of exceptions basically? Why they are important? Okay, and the next thing that we are going to discuss, how we can handle the exceptions. Okay, what are the different type of exceptions, how we can handle the exceptions, how we can raise the exceptions on our condition. And secondly, in the second part of the lecture, we'll see something about the file handling. What is the meaning of file handling? How we can create the file? How we can read the different contents? Okay, or how we can create the files? How we can write the content into the file? Because it is very important in case of the Python. And then at last we will see something which are related to the operating system basically, or means the file system. How we can create the directory, how we can change the directory. Okay, how we can remove the file. So this is the agenda of today's session. Now I'm going to start it. So the same thing is today also, means we are going to start because it is of coding part. So we'll do on means we are not or I'm not having any PPT kind of thing. Directly I'm having a platform that you know very well. That is this one. I'm having the notebook basically, Jupyter Notebook. So by using Jupyter Notebook, we can run the code and we can understand simultaneously what is the meaning of this code. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. If you people is having any doubt, or even in the yesterday session, if you are feeling any doubt, then you can ask, no problem. So okay. So tell me, my screen is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, the first topic is exception handling. So what is the meaning of exception? What is it? Anyone tell me what is the meaning of exception? What is exception exactly? In any other programming language, ever you have heard this term exception? Okay, no problem. I will tell you. While we are coding, actually, there may be two types of errors. One error that can be while we are writing the program, one syntax or some syntactical errors can be there. Sometime the logical errors, means the errors in the program can come while we are running the program. Or you can say sometime because of certain unusual condition, or our program can be basically terminated abnormally. Okay, so these type of situations are called the exceptions. So while you are writing the program, you never want that particular that if one error is arising in the some part of your program, that your program will terminate at that particular point. Okay, what you want basically, if some error is there, then the error should be reported somewhere. Okay, somewhere, or some file you can write. report the error. And your program definitely in some capacity, it should continue in running position. Okay, you don't want that abnormally it can terminate at any time while the error is coming. So exception basically are some unusual conditions, which can arise in the program during the execution. Okay, generally the program stops the execution on exception. If exception arises in the code, okay, if exceptions are arising in the code, suppose that, for example, like you are working with some file, or like you are creating a program for means communicating to someone, and network is not there. Okay, then your program, it is correct. The program, whatever you have written, it is correct. But because on runtime condition or current situation, there is no possibility of the network or the connection, then program can raise the error. Okay, similarly, suppose that sometime you are means reading, writing into the file, but file is not available. Okay, but your program is correct. If this file is available, then definitely your program will do all the things correctly. But because the file is not available, okay, so your program is raising the error. So these kind of conditions, because the program is not containing any syntactical error, but they are the logical error, because we cannot predict in the future what is going to be happen, what are the circumstances where the programs is running. If some means favorable conditions are not there, then your program can it can, what it can do, it can basically terminate abnormally. So in order to handle the abnormal termination, okay, the exception handling basically is used. So what is the procedure to do the exception handling? Most of the programming language, either that can be the Java or the Python, what they have done, they have basically some conditions are there which are predefined, like we are writing the program, file is not there. Suppose that we are using a particular variable, okay, but we have not declared it anywhere. Okay, so suppose that we have write like the out dot we have created the class of an object, object of a class, and by using that particular object we are writing something, but this object is pointing to the null. Okay, so this can be a particular error. Sometime you have seen while you are dividing with zero in C program, if somewhere you are writing something like a divided by 0 or 5 divided by 0, then definitely your program will terminate at that particular point. So all these conditions, sometime it may happen that you are working with the input output, but the supporting file or the link that is not opening. Okay, so that can be an error. So there are different type of errors that can arise. So some errors are the common errors. Common errors means some situations are the common situations that can be arise. So these common situations, any programming language which is having the exception handling mechanism, what they does basically, they have created the class for these exceptions. And the runtime environment know that situation. Yes, this is the situation. What it does, it throw or it, yeah, you can say it generate the object of that corresponding class. Okay, so what that particular object is containing, it is containing the relevant information to the error, so that either at that time we can handle, if we are using or we can use, then we can handle that particular error so that our program will continue. Otherwise we can have the error message in the log file, so that the later on we can know, yes, our program generated some errors. So this is the meaning of the exception. I think you people will understand, or you people understood what is the meaning of exception handling. Is this clear to you? What is the meaning of exception handling?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, please. Any query? Okay. So some common exceptions are like the zero division error, occurs when a number is divided by zero. Sometime somewhere in the program, if we are dividing a number divide by zero, then this is a exception condition. Name error, it occurs when a name is not found, means we are using something or or some name we are using, but it is not available and that in this particular scope. Okay, indentation error. In case of Python, indentation is very important. Okay, so sometimes the indentation error can be there. IO error, it occurs when input output operation fails. Any input output operations is if it is failing. Okay, so in that case IO error is there. EOF error, it occurs when the end of file is reached and yet operations are being performed. So end of file, every file it is having the end, means where the text is ending. Okay, so EOF error is generated. So however, only these are not the errors. There are so many errors, so many different type of errors, and these are defined as a hierarchy for each and every error or exception. Here, however, they have given the error, but this is basically, these are the exceptions. So this is the way, or you can say, this is an basically this is a way of Python of defining the exception. While in case of Java, you will see every time the Java people or Java exceptions, basically they are defined like the exception, means the arithmetic exceptions divided by 0 exceptions is there. Okay, but here in case of Python, they have defined like the classes, they have defined like that, zero division error. Okay, okay, just wait for a minute, please, all of you. Hello. हाँ जी, नमस्कार सर. Okay, sorry for this delay. So what they have done basically, they have created a complete exception hierarchy. Exception hierarchy means because there are so many classes which are defining the exceptions. Okay, so some exceptions like the features of some exceptions because they are means common. So they have defined a complete hierarchy for that. So here we have discussed only few exceptions, common exceptions, but the complete hierarchy here you can see. However, it is not even having the complete classes. There are so many other classes also, but most of the classes are covered here. So there is a base exception class, and after that we have so many classes. And here basically is the exception classes are there. They are the other classes are also there, but the main runtime exception are these. These are the subclasses of the exception class. So this exception class is basically the main base class of exceptions, except which are defined exceptions. Basically, defined means the predefined exceptions, like the attribute error is there, arithmetic error is there. Like in arithmetic error, zero division error can be there, floating point error can be there, overflow error can be there. Means, so there are so many exception classes. Okay, so what is the meaning of these exception classes while you are running a program? So you know very well that while you are running a Python program, then this is run through a PVM, Python virtual machine. Okay, so Python virtual machine know very well, yes, this condition is basically is an exception condition, and what it does, it finds that exception and raise, or you can say generate or throw the object of corresponding class, object of corresponding class. So if the corresponding class object is thrown, that can be handled, okay, or we can know what is the information in it. Okay, basically it is you can say it is generated for that, or you can say the purpose of generating is that we can know, yes, what kind of exception or what kind of error basically is generated in the program while it is running. Okay, sometime we can handle it, we can write the routines in order to handle the exceptions, or what we can simply we can means generate the log file and we can input into the log file so that we can correct for the future. Okay, so this is the basically the motivation behind the exception handling. Now, how we can handle the exception and what is the meaning of exception? By using this particular code, you can see here, you can see this is we have taken one input over here, one number we have taken as an input and we have stored into the A. Then second number we have taken and we are dividing that number. If this B is zero, then this particular line is basically it is generating divide by zero exception. It is generating the divide by zero exception. If B is zero, then this program will terminate at this particular point. Okay, nothing is going to be print after this because it is terminated at this particular point. Okay, that you can see. Here you can see, like here 4 I have entered as a and 0 I have entered as a B. So here you can see at this particular point, this is what it is doing. It is terminated. Nothing is going to be print. Now neither this line is going to be executed or this one. Okay, so what is happening? This is terminating over here, and what it is doing, basically one concept is there. If we are not handling the exception, then by default one routine is there in the PVM, means Python virtual machine, that is basically, however, it is not handling, but what it is doing, it is printing the exception. Yes, this exception is there. So here you can see zero division error, division by zero. This is the message and this is the error class basically, or exception class that is there. However, in the hierarchy also you can see zero division error. So zero division error means this is the exception class and this is the message that is passed over there. Means why this exception is occurred, because of division by zero. Okay, so now the question arises, how we can handle the exception in the Python, how we can avoid that particular program, that it will not terminate at this particular point. If the exception is here, then okay, that is okay, but the rest of the part of the program can be executed. And if the exception is here, that we can skip this particular thing because it is containing the error or exception, but the rest of the program should be executed, because it may be, or the possibility is there, that the rest of the program can have the important means instructions that is required to be executed. Okay, so how we can handle the exception in case of Python? So this can be handled using these syntaxes. One is the try then double colon. So this is a try block basically. When try block is there, try double colon. After that, the try block is started. So we write the codes which can generate the exception, or the code which can throw the exception. We write that particular code inside this try block. So the code which is means you can say which can generate the exception, we write within the try block. Okay, one except block is there. So if error is generated or exception is generated in the try block, this this is handled in the except block. So what you can write in the except block, you can write something that can either handle the exception, or simply you can print the exception, or you can write certain code that particular, or you can write certain routines that you want to execute if the exception is occurring. Okay, so that is there, that you need to write over here. Then one is else is there. Else means if exception is not there, what you need to execute, the else part is executed. No exception, run this code. If there is no exception, if exception is there, then definitely, if in the try the exception is there, then we are going to run this particular block, whatever we have written in the except. If this is not the case, we are going to run whatever we have written in the else. Okay, and finally is there is one more thing, that is finally. Sometime it happens that we are in the situation to handle the exception, and sometime that may be there that we are not able to handle the exception. That may be there. Sometimes the situation can arise that we are not able to handle the exception at all. But even though we don't want, or we are having some important code that we want to execute at any cost, even though we are not able to handle the exception, that particular code we write generally in the finally always run this code, whether our program is having the exception or not. But whatever code we have written inside the finally, that will execute definitely. So by using try, except, else, and finally, we can handle the exception. Now just see how we can handle the exception. Here you can see this code. A is equal to 1, 2, 3. So this is a list, and this list is having 3 elements. Okay. So what is the size of this list? This is the 0 index, then 1, then 2. 0, 1, 2. This is the indexes in the list. Then here in the try block, what we have written, we are accessing the element from the list. Here you can see, here the first element we are accessing. First element means the 2 we are accessing, and here you can see A3. A3 means we are accessing the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth element, but there are only 3 elements. What is happening? Please turn off your mic, please. Who is generating this noise? Please turn off your mic. Someone is generating some noise. Yes. So here what we are doing in this line, or in this particular statement, and here you can see we are trying to access the 4th location of this list. Okay, but this is not available because the indexes are available only from 0 to 2, 0, 1, 2, but we are accessing the 3rd one. So this line will generate the exception. So if it is generating the exception, then definitely the control will move from this particular point. Even if we are writing some more code after that, then you'll see that will not print anything, because the controllers like KP Sharma, suppose that I'm writing. So from this particular point, because this line is generating exception, the control move to the except block. And whatever we have written the except block, it is printed, or you can say it is executed. However, I am here writing only an error occurred, but you can write certain modules which are handling the error, or you can write something which are registering this particular error into the log file. Okay, putting that particular error into the log file. So you can write any exception handling module over here. But what is the beauty of the exception handling? Even though this program is generating exception, but this program is not going to terminate at this particular point. Why? Because after that except, whatever we have written like this one, this is going to be executed. Now you can see. Here you can understand second element, yes. But here when error is occurring, if error is occurring, that the control is moving from this particular line to the except block. However, this line, whatever we have written after that, it is not going to be execute, KP Sharma, okay, because the control is coming over here in the except block, and then whatever we have written in the except block, that is executed, and then the program is continued executed, and the program execution is continue basically in the normal flow. There is no problem. Okay, it is not terminated basically. That you can verify using this after exception, and after exception we are printing over here. It means this exception is handled. Okay, if we are not handling it, here you can see, even if we are not handling it, Okay, in that case, definitely you'll see that program is terminated at this particular point. After that, we cannot. Here, you just please see. Okay, indentation problem is there because here you can see second element. Up to this line, it is executing, but after that, nothing is going to be executed. Okay. So what is the meaning? Means we can handle the exception and we can guard our program from abnormal termination. Okay. So sometime here in this program, you can see what we are doing over here. Here, what we are doing, this case basically, if any exception is occurring over here, like here, the exception is here you can see what is the exception. Just see what is the exception over here. Okay, so what is basically it is this. This is like out of index basically, or out of bound exception is there. Out of bound error is there. So what is happening? This is a way so that by using this we can handle any exception. Any exception means either the exception is divided by 0 or out of index error is there or some other exception is there. Okay, the same code is going to be run for all the exceptions. Sometime we want that for a specific error we want to perform some specific action. Okay, so that can also be done. What we can do instead of writing exception or handling exception in this way, like try and then accept, what we can write a particular class after this except, like this. And this is the syntax: catching a specific exception. How we can catch the specific exception? Here you can see the try, the block of code that can generate the exception, and then accept. After that, the class name of the exception class name, exception 1, then accept exception 2. So it may happen that the try block can generate more than one exception. So separately, we can handle these exceptions using this particular syntax. For example, here you can see this is a function def function a. If a is less than 4, then this is generating the divide by 0 exception. Here you can see b is equal to a divided by a minus 3. Okay, and if this condition is not matching, okay, if this condition is not matching, in that case still we are printing the value of b, but the b is undefined because this line is not executing if a is not less than 4. Okay, in that case this b is undefined. It means, what is the meaning? So if we are providing the value for a that is less than 4, okay, then in this case this code basically, like we are providing if 3, so this code is generating the divide by 0, because a divide a minus 3 means 3 minus 3 is 0, so divide by 0 exception is there. If we are means giving any value that is either equal to 4 or greater than 4, then this line is going to be executed. B is undefined in that particular case. Okay, B is undefined. So we have two different type of errors or exceptions. So how we can handle? Here you can see in the try block we have called the function with the 3 and 5. So in first case, if a function 3 is calling only, in that case 3 means divide by 0 exception is there. In that case this is going to be executed. This one means the block except what we have done over here, we have written the 0 division error. So whatever is there in this block, that is going to be execute, or you can say if divide by 0 exception is there, then we can write the specific handling module for divide by 0 exception. And if another exception is there, like name error is there, then we can execute the another thing. So here you can see by running this, 0 division occurred and handled. 0 division occurred and handled means we are executing this. Suppose that we are making it as comment, means we are passing 5. In that particular case, what we are doing, name error occurred and handled. Okay, so multiple errors or multiple means except blocks are allowed if we want to handle the specific error. This is the meaning. Okay, now one more syntax is there, that is try with else clause. Try with else clause. So what we can do, we can write like the try. Okay. So this try, whatever we have written in the try means we can write, or we generally write those instructions which can generate throw the errors or exception. Okay. And in except we write the handling routines or handling module. Okay. And then in else, if error means if exception is or exception occurs in the try block, in that case the code whatever is written inside this exception, you know, if exception occurs, then this will execute, you know, or you can say except block is execute, otherwise the else block will execute. Okay. So you can see uh, 3, and then suppose that 0 at this time I'm writing, it means can't divide by 0 means this one, and then we have print the exception means exception class also we have printed. So class exception is there. Okay. If that we are not doing, in that case the statement with whatever is written in the else, that is going to be printed. Like here you can see this 4, and then suppose that 2 we are in, you know, here you can see a divided by b is equal to 2, you know, I am else block, and then this is the last block. Okay. So what is the meaning of else clause means if exception is if it is try block is raising any exception, then exception block is going to be execute, otherwise this is going to be execute. Rest of the code basically it is running as it is. There is no problem in that. Okay. The except statement with no exception. Okay. With no exception means there are two ways. Either what we can do, we can write the exception except block with mentioning the exception. Here we can write the exception. So this is the exception class basically. So what is the thing, one thing that you need to understand what is happening basically here. While we are generating the exception like c is equal to a divided by b means if b is 0, then at this particular point pvm is generating the object of divide by 0 exception class, है ना, divide by 0 class. Okay, divide by 0 or divide by 0 error is the class name over here. Here you can see, you know, this is the zero division error class. Zero division error class is there. Okay, so here you can see zero division class error is the subclass of exception. Exception is the parent class. And here in this hierarchy, what is the meaning of this? This is the base class. These all are the subclasses. Exception is the base class over here, and after this you can see these are the subclasses. So one rule is there in case of Python, that the reference of superclass can catch or can hold the object of subclass. So if we want to handle the exception, then one rule is there that if suppose that here you can take this example, suppose that here we are generating the zero division error class object is generating. So the exception can handle it because it is the superclass. If we are writing over here, or if we write some subclass or some parallel class, then we are not able to handle this exception. Even though you can see if we are writing something like that, suppose that here you can see zero division error. Suppose that I'm writing floating point error. So you know, this is the class on say at the same level. Okay, so this is not able to handle it. However, if I'm writing the arithmetic error, then this is okay, that can handle. Attribute error, this cannot also handle. But why? Because it is not related to that one. Okay, so zero division error is occurring over here. If I'm writing floating point error like this, you can see floating point error. Where is that? Like this one, floating point error is there. Floating point error. In that case, I'm not able to handle this exception. Here you can see 4 and 0. So this is not able to. Here you can see this program basically is terminated over here because this is not able to handle the error. So if we want to handle the exception, then either we need to know the class of the exception that we can write over here. Okay, so two things are here basically. Either we can write here the same class or any superclass of that exception, or we can leave it blank so that it can handle any exception. Okay, so either we can leave it blank, like here you can see except, then it is handled, or we need to write either the same class which is for the object of which class is going to be generated, or the superclass of it. Okay, now next is the except statement using with exception variable. What is the meaning of it? uh, Suppose that here you can see try a b c. Here we are generating the divide by zero exception. So what we can do, however, this exception class we can write over here, there is no problem. So sometime because we need to write exception, we need to use that exception. So what we can do, we can create an object kind of thing, or you can say we can rename it, because exception classes you can see, these are very lengthy, their name are very lengthy. Okay, so what we can do, we can rename them as here where it is with else clause, here you can see as e. So here what we have done, we have rename it except exception as e. Then instead of printing exception, here you can see we are printing the exception somewhere here. Here we are printing the exception. Okay, like the exception. So instead of writing the exception, what we can do, simply we can rename it, or you can say we can alias it, and we can use like that 4 and then 0. So same thing is there, means instead of using exception, now we can use e. Next is some points to remember. Python facilitates us to not specify the exception with the except statement. Okay, sometime it is not always necessary that we need to write the exception class over here. We can declare multiple exceptions in the except statement, since the try block may contain the statement which throw the different type of exceptions. Yes, this can be the situation. Sometime what can happen, if we are writing something in the try block, that whatever we are writing in the try block, that try block can generate more than one exceptions. Okay, so the except statement basically, it allow in case of Python to write multiple exception classes, so that the multiple exception can be handled simultaneously. Okay, we can also specify an else block along with the try except statement, which will be executed if no exception is raised in the try block that we have seen. If there is no exception is generated in the try block, then one thing, or we can write something that can be executed in this case, that we can write in the else block. The statement that don't throw the exceptions should be placed inside the else block. So only the things, or some statements which can means generate the exception, which are means prone to generate the exception, that we can write in the try block. Else the other statements means we can write in the else block. So this is the correct way, means try, suppose that we are opening a file, like file ptr open file.txt, means if this file is available, then there is no exception is generated. If it is not available, means if the file is not available, then file error is there, or you can say input output error is there. Okay, because the file is not available and still we are trying to open it. Okay, so this particular statement, or the statements which are more prone to generate the exceptions, we need to write these statements within the try block. Okay, so here we have written, then if it is not there, like file, if it is not there or it is not existing, in that case it will throw an exception, like here you can see file not found. If file is there, then there is no problem, it will open. Now next is declaring multiple exceptions. So how we can declare the multiple exceptions, that you need to think. how we can, what is the syntax? Like here, try means the statements are there within try which can generate the multiple exceptions. Okay. Then in the except clause or except statement, we can write the multiple exception classes now which can be raised by this code. Possible, all possible classes, for them the error can be or exceptions can be generated by the try block. Okay. So what we can do, the simple or single except statement which is containing the multiple classes can handle the multiple type of exceptions. Okay, and then we can write the else block. So next is the finally keyword. Finally, you know very well how we can use the finally. Finally means sometime, and it may happen. Sometime it may happen that even though we are not able to handle the exception, even though we have written the try catch block, like in some example you have seen here. And what we have done over here? No, over here. And here you have seen we have written exception. Yes, exception is the superclass, no problem. Exception is the superclass. And here the exception is the superclass, like a is equal to 2 is there and 0 is there. So exception can handle. Suppose that I'm writing something else, means as you have seen, like floating point error. And floating point error I'm writing. Suppose that floating point error I'm writing, floating point error. So what is the meaning? Why I'm writing it? The exception is generating or generated by the try block, but we are not able to handle it over here. Okay. So if we are writing this like this, then it means exception is generated by the code, even though we have written the try and except block, but it is not handled. It is not handled. But even after that, if we want to write something that should be executed, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, मतलब चाहे एक्सेप्शन हैंडल हो या ना हो, लेकिन हम चाहते हैं कि फिर भी कुछ ना कुछ कोई ऐसी स्टेटमेंट है हमारे पास, इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेटमेंट है, that should be executed finally. That statement we write into the finally. So here in this example you can see the exception is generated over here. This block is not able to handle the exception because this we have written over here the floating point error, and this is not, neither this is the same class, not the super class. So it is not able to handle. It means this program is going to be terminated over here. Neither this else block is executing, or this print statement, last statement is executing. Nothing is going to be executed. This program is terminated at this particular point number 4, or statement number 4. Okay. So finally, if we want to execute something, even though we are not in the situation, to handle the exception, but after that we want to execute some statements which are very important to us, then we can write these statement in the finally block, like something print these are in finally block, finally block. Now just see that here you can see 4 and 0, that you can see 4 0. Nothing is executed, but whatever we have written in the finally, that is executed, even though the program is terminated, but the thing that we have written in the finally, that is executed successfully. There is no problem in that. So finally block means sometime this can be the situation that some code is some codes are very important at any cost, whether there is an exception or not, exception is handled or not, we want to execute them, then such statements we write in the finally block. Okay. So here even you can see this is the same example actually, that you can see this is always executed. So whether it is if it is correct, like 3, like 2 means it is okay, even though if it is not generating exception, it is executed, and if it is generating the exception, then also it is executed, like 4, and suppose that 0, then also it is executed. You can see cannot divide by 0, divide by 0, even though it is executed. So in any case, the finally is going to be executed. Now raising exception. Raising exception, what is the meaning? Sometime, because uh, most of the exceptions which are predefined means the exceptions which are predefined or the class for which they are predefined by the Python. Okay, so for them the exceptions basically, or the object of exception class is generated by the PVM, Python virtual machine, because Python virtual machine basically know that this is the exception condition and it generate the object of that particular class. But Python provide one another facility that at our condition we can ourselves, or you can say externally, we can raise the exception. And implicitly, what in normal condition what is happening, the basically जो PVM है ना, or Python virtual machine, it is implicitly it is generating the exception. But there is facility that on a certain condition we can ourselves generate the exception. So that can be done using the raise statement. One raise statement is there. Here you can understand with the help of the example. Try a b. If b is 0, suppose that, and then what we can do, however we have not used over here anything like a divide by 0 or something. Okay, so a divided by 0 we are not using. It means the PVM is not generating because it is not understanding yes divide by 0 is there or not. Okay, because we have not used that particular statement. But what we can do, on certain condition we can raise the error explicitly. Like here you can see, if b is 0, if b is 0, in that case what we can do, raise arithmetic error. What is the meaning of it? What we are doing, we are externally, if b, the value of b is 0, then we are externally, what we are doing, we are generating the error. Similarly, you can means apply the condition. Suppose that this b is representing the age of someone, and we are means making the suppose that we are making a software for driving license. If the age is below 18, then we cannot issue the driving license. In that case, this is a, you can say, for some program this can be the erroneous condition or the exceptional condition. So what we can do, we can check the age. If age is below 18, then we can raise the error. Okay, something like that. Means on our situation, what we can do, we can generate the error, we can raise the error. Okay, in the similar way as PVM is generating the error. So here, if b is 0, then raise arithmetic exception. So arithmetic error, basically it is the class. So what we need to write, what is the syntax? Raise is the statement. After that, we need to write the class of error that we want to generate on our condition. Else is there. So at this particular point, what we are doing, we are generating the error. Okay, and if else is this one, else if it is not there, then what we are doing, we are dividing a divided by 0. There is no problem. If b is 0, then we are raising the error. Okay, then here we have written the except arithmetic error. If error is, it is generating the error, then obviously if try within the try block we are generating the exception, then from this particular point we are going to the except block and we are means printing this. The value of b cannot be divided by 0, like you can see. Okay, you can see like that 4 and like 0. So here you can see the value of b cannot be 0. Otherwise it will give you the division. 4 2. Okay, a divided by b is 2.0. Similarly, what you can do here, you simply provide the name of the exception class. So what you can do, sometime you have seen over here, you have seen there are two things. One is the name of the exception class here, where we have printed this one. Here you can see 0 division error. This is the class and this is the message, division by 0. So what we can do, it will give us the facility that if we are raising the error or exception ourselves explicitly, then we can pass the message also. Like here you can see raise value error. Suppose that we are having, or we are raising the value error for the negative number. Suppose that like you are calculating the factorial of a particular number, and for negative number there is no factorial, or we cannot calculate the factorial. In that case, this is an exception situation for us, but this is not the exception situation for the Python virtual machine. So what we can do, for this condition explicitly we can raise the error, raise value error. So we can pass the reason also or the message also why this error is occurring. That is a negative number. Okay, so here you can see, suppose that I'm writing -1, then this is a negative number, है ना? So that kind of thing also we can do. Now creating user defined exception, you know very well that most of the classes or most of the errors, you know, they are defined by the Python library, or the classes are created in the Python itself. But sometime it may happen that we can create our user defined exception also, means something can be exception for us. So this facility is also available over here. We can create our exception class. So this facility basically is provided by the inheritance. You know very well, if I am means inheriting any class means I'm acquiring the feature of that particular class. So if I'm generating a class and this is inheriting any exception class which is available in the exception hierarchy, then my class definitely it will behave like the exception class. So this is the same thing. By using that particular thing, what we can do, we can create the user defined or customized exception classes, like our own exception classes we can create. Like over here you can see class my exception. So what is the meaning? My exception is the class and I'm inheriting this exception class, means exception, the class which is available in the exception hierarchy. So this class now will behave like the exception class. So this is the constructor of this class, you know very well. Then here what we are doing, we are passing the value, or you can say the message, whatever we want to set here. This value basically it is passed as a message that is going to be printed. So after defining this class we can use as a uh, exception class. Okay, so here this class can be used in the same way as exception classes are means used. So try raise my error. No, my error, this you need to write over here, my exception, my exception. Okay, then here also my exception, because I have created the my exception. So here you can see my exception. Here you can see 6, it is printing. So it is behaving like my exception class. So is this clear to you? So this is all about the exception in the Python. Okay, most of the concepts we have covered in this. So if you are having any query, then you can ask anyone. Please, anyone, if you are having any query related to the exception, then you can ask. Otherwise, we will move forward on file handling. It is okay? Yes, please. Your voice is not coming to me properly.
User defined exception.
यूजर डिफाइन एक्सेप्शन का मतलब ये है कि हम अपनी एक्सेप्शन क्लास बना सकते हैं। जैसे पहले से ही एक्सेप्शन क्लासेस बनी है, लाइक अर्थमेटिक एक्सेप्शन बनी है, या जैसे है ना फाइल नॉट फाउंड एक्सेप्शन बनी है, या जो एरर, यहाँ तो एरर के नाम से बनी है खैर सारी क्लासेस। ठीक है, तो जो पहले से ही क्लासेस बनी है, इस तरह की क्लास अगर हम अपनी क्लास बनाना चाहते हैं अपनी कंडीशन के हिसाब से, जैसे आप सपोज करो कि जैसे मैंने एज वाली बात कही, या फिर आप जैसे कोई बैंक की एप्लीकेशन बना रहे हो, आप चाहते हो कि अगर 500 से कम बैलेंस है तो आप नहीं चाहते कि चलो वो बैलेंस जो विड्रॉ हो, वो आपके लिए एक एक्सेप्शन कंडीशन है। तो आप क्या कर सकते हो, आप वहाँ एक अपनी एक्सेप्शन क्लास बना सकते हो, और जब भी ऐसी सिचुएशन आए अपनी क्लास का जो ऑब्जेक्ट है वो थ्रो कर सकते हो। मतलब आपकी अपनी क्लास जो है वो इस तरह से बिहेव कर सकती है जैसे कि एक्सेप्शन क्लासेस हो। हालांकि ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट नहीं है सच कि आपने एक्सेप्शन क्लासेस बनानी है, बिकॉज देयर आर सफिशिएंट एक्सेप्शन क्लासेस व्हिच आर इम्प्लिसिटली अवेलेबल इन द पाइथन और द अदर प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेजेस। ओके, अच्छा ऐसा करते हैं, अभी 5 मिनट्स का ब्रेक लेते हैं, फिर स्टार्ट करते हैं दूसरा पोर्शन। ओके
Okay, sir.
ओके।
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have sent a Google form to all of you regarding feedback of different sessions. Have you received that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You may fill it every day or you may fill once after the workshop. It's up to you. And after today's session, we will have a formal interaction with all. Hello.
No.
Yeah, I'm saying that after the end of this session today, we will meet formally. We will interact with each other for 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I will interact with you.
So, okay, participants, now we can start our next topic, file handling.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
So file handling in Python. First, you need to understand what's the meaning of file handling. File handling means, you know very well that if we are running a program, so whatever value we are passing or whatever input we are giving and whatever means the output the program is generating, you know, that all the data at the time it is handled temporarily in the RAM. Okay, means while you are terminating your program, the data is not available. Suppose that you have created a linked list or you have created an array, you have put certain values in the array, or you have generated the matrix, and after that you have multiplied the matrices, and okay. So now, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So I think my screen is also visible to you. So what are the operations generally? The opening a file means we can
Sir.
open a file.
Excuse me,
Yes.
sir. Your screen is not visible, sir.
Okay. Screen is not visible. 1 minute.
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Now it's visible. Okay. Thank you very much. So what basically the different type of operations we can perform. We can open a file. We can read some data from it. the file, we can write, okay, or we can means we can write on a specific position, we can write a specific line from the file, and after all, what we can do, we can close the file. So all these operations we can do, we can do with the file handling module of the Python. One more thing is there, while we are working with the file handling module, basically we are dealing with the file system of the operating system. Okay, means if we want to work with something like we want to change the or rename the file, as you have seen, okay, while we are renaming, then we will use basically this operating system commands by using the mouse or by using the renaming function. So we need to interact with the operating system. So one OS module is there. Using that, what we can do, we can deal with the file system of the operating system. Means we can change, rename the file, we can remove the file, or we can change the directory. Okay, so this we can do by using the operating system module. So both of the module we are going to see over here, file handling and the operating system module. So opening a file first, so one function is there, that is open. That is very simple. The similar kind of function is there in C also. File object is equal to open, then function is there, some parameter we pass in this function. Okay, so what this is returning, basically this open function, this loads the file into the, if this loads the file into the RAM, basically you can consider that. So if you know the concept, so while this opening function, what it is doing, it is opening the file into the RAM, and the pointer basically of this memory area, the starting pointer, it returns to as a file object. It returns as a file object. Okay, and this open function have basically two important parameter it is having. One is the name of the file, or you can say the path of the file. One is the name of the file or the path of the file, and another one is the one mode is there. Mode means in which particular mode we want to open the file. Sometime our aim can be there that we want to read something from the file. Sometime we want to write into the file. Sometime we want to perform both the operations simultaneously, means we want to read and write also. So there are so many operations, or so many modes are there in which we can open the file. Means we are loading the file from the secondary storage to the main storage, and in what mode basically we are loading. Okay, that depends on the mode. So one important thing is the file name, and another important thing is the mode basically. So there are so many modes defined. Here you can see R means the read mode is there. It opens the file to read only mode. Read only means we cannot perform the write operation. If we are having like that, means we have written something file, then here the object of the file then is equal to we have written open, and then the file name, and then we have written like the R means the file, corresponding file, whatever name is there. If file exists, it will search the file basically in the current directory or whatever path we have applied over here, given over here. Then it opens the file to read only mode. The file pointer exists at the beginning. Okay, means file pointer by default it is at the beginning or starting of the file. The file is by default open in this mode if no access mode is passed. So this is optional. The mode is optional. Sometime if we are not giving any mode, then by default the file is open in this read mode. Okay, one more is there, that is called RB. So one important thing is here, there are basically two types of files. One is the text file where the text you can see directly, like A, B, C, RAM, or whatever you have written in the text format or ASCII format is there. It is available. Some files are the binary files. Binary files, they are containing the data in the binary format, like executable files. And it is means containing the data in the binary format. So binary files, they are not directly readable. So if we want to read or perform the read write operation in the binary format, so we need to use B. B means the binary file is there. So RB means the same, the thing is same, but what we are doing, we are basically opening the binary file in the reading mode. It opens the file to read only in the binary format. The file pointer exists at the beginning of the file. Okay. Similarly, R plus means it opens the file to read and write both. Okay, so these are the modes, various modes available. so that as per our need, what we can do, we can open the file, means we can load the file into the main memory or random access memory. Okay. R plus, it opens the file to read and write both. The file pointer exists at the beginning of the file. Okay. Then same RB plus is there. RB plus means the same function is there, but the same function we can do with the binary file. Okay. Then W is there. W is for writing. It opens the file to write only. Write only. You know? If we want to write something in the file, then we are writing. One important thing is there. It overwrites the file if previously exists, or creates a new one if no file exists with the same name. And that is very important. Suppose that, like open, we have given over here and we have written like file1.txt. If file1.txt is already there, then what it will do, it will erase all the contents which are there in the file1.txt. And if we want to write something, it overwrite that. Okay. If the file is not there, then it creates the file with the given name. Okay. So this is the thing. Exist or create a new one if no file exists with the same name. The file pointer exists at the beginning of the file. And so that is important. WB, this is same, but for the binary file. Same W plus, it opens the file to write and read both. W plus is similar like the R plus, but there is a little difference. It is different from R plus in the sense that it overwrites the previous file if one exists, whereas R plus does not overwrite the previously written file. Okay, this is the difference. It creates a new file if no file exists. The file pointer exists at the beginning of the file. Okay. Similarly, WB plus is there for the binary file. Then one more mode is there, that is A. A means append. We can open a file in the append mode. Means if we want to write something, that we can append, means at the last we can add the contents of the file. Okay. It opens the file in the append mode. The file pointer exists at the end of the previous written file if exist any. If it is not exist, means sometime it may be there that we are opening a file, but file is not already available. If it is not available, then it creates a new file if no file exists with the same name. Then AB is there. It opens the file in the append mode in binary format. It is for the binary. This rest all the things are same. Then A plus is there. It opens a file to append and read both. If we want to append at the last and want to read the data from the file, then we need to open the file in the A plus mode. The file pointer remains at the end of the file if a file exists. It creates a new file if no file exists with the same name. Similarly, AB plus is there for the binary file. So these modes are very important. We need to know before programming, we need to know what type of operations basically we want to perform on the file. Yes, please. Any query? Okay. Okay. So here you can see a little small code. Please, someone is disturbing. If yes, please turn off your mic. Someone is.
पेट में वो अभी दवाई दे दे, बस एक बार वो टेस्ट कराना तेरे को, वो करा के फिर आ जाए रिपोर्ट में। ठीक है ना, पानी और पीना है? मैं पूछता हूँ, वो फ्री हो गया तो मैं
Okay. Pooja, please, someone is speaking. Please turn off the mic, please. Request to turn off the mic, please. So here you can see file ptr is equal to open kp.txt. What is the meaning? This it means we are in the current directory. There is something that is called current directory. So currently where we are working basically in directory that, however, there is function to know the current directory that we will see. But here, if you want to know where is the current directory, then this program basically it is installed in somewhere documents, and documents, in the documents Python programming is there, and inside this we are working basically. So here you can see we are I am written over here kp.txt. Okay, so this is the file kp.txt. This is a text file. Okay, so this so what this code is doing basically, file ptr. So file ptr basically it is an object, okay, which is pointing, or you can say it is a file pointer which is pointing to the file open kp.txt. So text file, KP text file, we are opening from the current directory if it is available. If it is not available, then this function will generate an exception. Okay. However, these kind of commands we need to write in the try catch block or in this try or this block. Means we need to write always in the try block. Okay. So try and except log we need to use. So file ptr is equal to open kp.txt. If it is available, then we need to means load that particular file or open this file in read mode. Okay. If file ptr means if pointer is available. If it is not available, then it will return null. Null means 0 and a false. If file ptr, the file is opened successfully. So that you can see, because file is existing over there, it means it is opened successfully. In this way, you can open the file. Similarly, one more function is there that is called close. So if we have opened some file, then definitely we need to close it. We need to close it. So closing a file, the function is to close the file is close. Okay. So like we have opened file ptr is equal to open kp.txt, then r is there. Then if file is open, then it is okay. We have opened, and then we need to close it. Okay. We need to close it. So file is opened successfully. After that, we have closed that particular file. And the right way or the correct way of writing this basically is that try, because sometimes it is not possible that file is available always on the current directory. If it is not available, then definitely it will throw an error. Then we need to write that command which is opening the file always in the try block. And in the finally, because at every condition we want to close the file, because it is important. If otherwise, if we are not closing the file, we cannot open it again. Okay. So at any cost, what we need to do, we need to close. So generally the close command, it is written in the finally block, and the command that is used to open the file, it is written in the try block. Okay, so this is the way of writing the command. Now next is the with statement. With statement is like this: with open kp.txt are as f. So what is the meaning? Basically, this file, we have the reference of this basically file we have created as f. Okay, so one little difference is there. However, it is same, like f is equal to open kp.txt comma r. This is same, but one little difference is there. If we are opening the file like this, it is containing the close. Means if file is going to be opened, then directly after this it will close. It will close like this. Here you can see with open f content is equal to f dot read, and a read basically it is a command, or you can say it is a method that is used to read the content of the file. Okay, and then so what is happening over here? This is automatically this file is going to be closed. Now next thing is how we can write into the file. So in order to write, what we need to do, the important thing is these modes basically. There are so many modes over there. So if we want to read, so for performing any operation in case of file handling, first we need to open the file. If we want to write something, then we need to open the file in the writing mode. If we want to read from the file, then we need to open the file into the read mode. Okay, so that is important thing. So we want to write something like here. If we want to write something, it means we need to open the file in writing mode so that we can write. So here you can see file ptr is equal to open kps2.txt. What is the meaning? If this kps2.txt is available, if it is available, okay, already if it is available, then this file is opened in the writing mode. Means what is the meaning of w? You can see over here, w means it opens the file to write only if it overwrites the file if previously exists. And means if it is already available, then it will overwrite it. Otherwise, what it will do, it will create a new file with the name of kps2.txt, and whatever we want to write, we can write by using the write function. Okay, so it is already available, kps2.txt. So what we are doing, we are writing this in this file. So whatever is there, you can see even you can see like this is the file kps2. This is the file. This is already available. And here you can see, suppose that this is written something, or like some other things I'm writing over here. You can see. Okay. So what is happening if I'm writing or if I'm executing this command? It means whatever content are there, they will be overwritten. They will be removed, and again, what is written in the file, this will be written in the file. You can see even. So I'm executing it. This is executed. Now you can see the file again. Here you can see all the things, whatever is written over here, that is removed, and new data is means written in this. Okay. One more thing like this, if we are opening the file in append mode, like append mode, we are opening A. It means KPS2, if it is already available, then this file is opened and pointer is set at the end of the file so that we can write at the end of the file. So after that, you can see if we are executing it, means whatever is there in the file, after that we are appending this line. So here this a new line character means in the next line I'm writing this. Python has an easy syntax and user-friendly interaction. Okay. Now the important thing is the reading the file, how we can read data from the file. So for reading, we are having various methods. Basically, if we want to read some bytes, number of bytes, then we have function read. And if we are not passing the number of bytes, then it will read entire content. Basically, the return type of the read function is the string. So here you can see kps2.txt is the file. You can see even this particular file here. This is the file. This is containing some data. Okay, 3 lines are there. So if we are using the read, then what it is doing, content is equal to file ptr.read10. Read 10 means 10 bytes we are reading by using this, and these are copied into the content as a string. Then we can print that particular string. Similarly, if we are using the read function directly without passing the number of bytes, then it is reading all the contents which are available, complete entire content it is reading, and it is copying into the content too. Okay, then we can print. Like here you can see in the first Python is the 10 characters we are reading, and after that what we are doing, we are reading the entire content. Okay, entire content, whatever is available. What is happening over here, because file ptr.read, after that the pointer is basically moved to the 10 position after, so that from there the contents is read by the second function. Okay, and we can print over here. Read file through for loop. Similarly, what we can do, sometime we can read the file using the for loop. As you know, what we are doing, we are reading from the file. Okay, like this. Here you can see file ptr is equal to open. We have open in the read mode, and by using the for loop for I in file ptr, what is the meaning? It will iterate to the file while this I basically is not point to the null. Okay, because you know the loop will end for the null is treated in the Python as a 0 or false. Okay, so it will, what it will do, it will iterate over the file, and every time we are printing I, means it is basically every time it is reading a character from the file and it is printing till the end of the file. So here you can see every character, it is printed. Now sometime we want to read the lines. Basically, instead of reading the character by character or the complete file, sometime we want to read line. Then we have functions like the read line. Read line function, it reads the line. Basically, one calling of the read line function is read one line from the file. And if we want to read all the lines which are available in the function, then another function we are having that is called read lines. Okay, read lines. So here you can see kps2.txt then c is equal to file ptr.read line. Read line means we can read the current line, means the first line. If again we are writing file ptr.read line, it means the next line we are reading. So here the next line we are reading, it means only two lines, two starting lines we are reading. So kps2, you can see over here there are 3 lines basically, and out of these 3 we are reading only first two lines. So this you can see Python is very strong language in terms of provided libraries. One more function, read lines. Read lines means the complete, the entire, the number of lines which are available in the Python we can read by using this. This you can see like this. So here, so what is the meaning? Either what you can do, because you know in case of Python, suppose that you have read that the entire file in a particular string, then you can process the string using the string library. The string library in Python is also very strong. You can means separate these lines. Here you can see the new line character is there. So by using the new line character, or even by using this comma, what you can do, you can extract the line from that particular string. Now creating a new file, how we can create the new file. So you know very well that if we are using the append mode or writing mode, or one mode, more mode is there, that is X. Then by using these modes, what we can do, if file is not already available, then in that case we can create the file. Like this you can see. Here, suppose that file 4. What I am doing, it is already there. File 4. File 4. File 4 is not there anything. No file 4 is there. So after executing this command, you can see there will be a file 4. Okay. However, we are not writing any content into it. But after this, you can see in the current folder, there is file 4. File 4 is there, but there is no content. So if we want to create something, then we can create like this. File ptr is equal to open 4. And by using X also, we can do that. Then one more important thing is file pointer position. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, if we are creating the file using the open command, what is the use?
Yes, please.
Sir, you said we are creating the file using the open command. What is the use of X?
What is the
Use of X?
use of X? Basically, it is a mode. It is mode basically, and it creates a new file with a specified name. It causes an error if file exists with the same name. Till now, what we are doing in case of A and W, if you have seen it, or while I'm telling about the modes, in case of A and W, what is the problem? If file is already existing, in A, that file is opened, and we can append the text after it. In case of W, the situation is that if file is already there, then the content of that file is overwritten. So if we want to create the new file, then we can use the X. What is the meaning of X? X means if file is already there, it will return an error. Means file is already existing, so you need to give a separate name for the file. Okay, so we can create the file by using the X also. X means it is what it is saying. Where is that? 1 minute. File pointer position. This one. X means if file 4 is already there. Like again, I want to execute this. Here you can see, because file 4 I have already created. Now it is not going to be executed because file 4 is already existing. So I need to give a different name to create a different file. Okay, is this clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now file pointer position. File pointer means where sometime we want to know the exact position of the file pointer. Like initially when we are opening the file in the read mode. Okay, so file pointer position is the at the starting position, means at the 0 position. So this tell command or tell function is there that returns the file position. Okay, so you know very well, if we are using like this at the starting, if we are seeing like this, print the file pointer is at so this is at the starting, and you know read function basically it read the complete text from the file. And complete text reading means this read function is moving file pointer from 0 to the last of the file. Okay, so after read, obviously the file pointer position will be at the last of the file. So after that, if we are using the same function tell, then it is showing 125. It means the number of characters in the file is 125. Okay, changing the file pointer position. And according to us, what we can do, we even can change the pointer position also. So what is the syntax? One function is there that is called seek. Seek function is there, and offset and from what. Offset means the position that we want to shift, and from what, from where we want to shift the position. Okay, so fseek, using the fseek function, what we can do, we can shift the position of the pointer as per our requirement. Okay, so offset means the number of positions to move forward. From what, it defines point of reference, means from where we need to move the position, from the starting or from the current position or from the back end. Okay, so what it return, it return does not return any value. So return type of this function is nothing. So here in case of this from what, here we basically pass three numbers, 0 1 2. 0 means from the beginning whatever value we are passing means from the beginning, like the 10 positions ahead. Okay, or 1 the current position means one we are passing means from current positions 10 positions or 20 positions ahead, or like 2, means 2 is representing the end of the file. So here even you can see like one file is there, kps2.txt r, then fseek20. If we are not passing anything, it means 0. So here you can understand what is the meaning of it. F is equal to open kps2.txt r. So we are opening the file in the read mode. Okay, then f.seek20. So read mode we are and then we are moving the pointer position by 20 from 0. It means if we are doing or we are calling this f.tell function, means the current position of the file pointer is 20. Okay, and after that, if we are doing the f.read line, then you can say after the 20 position we can print the print whatever is there in the file. Okay, so you can see. So what we have done over here, we have moved basically the pointer position, and after that we have started the reading or read line. So whatever is there that we have read. Similarly, here you can see f.seek -10, 2. 2 means the end of the file. From the end of the file, we need to shift the pointer or 10 position before. Okay, -10 means 10 position before we need to shift. Then f.tell. So here the total, if you want to see in the file, the total somewhere 125 is there. Then 115 position is there. Okay, so you can see this. You can see. So whatever position is there, from there we can read. So here f.read line.decode, this is UTF-8 basically we have passed the decoding. However, if by default the data is available in the text format, then directly also we can print. Now B, so here this you can see direction. So what is basically, it is not in the directly in by text format, textual format. Now one important module is there that is called Python OS module. Sometime we require to change the name of the file, or we want to manipulate the name, or sometime we want to change the path. Okay, or directory name even we want to change. So that we can do by using the OS module. So Python OS module provide that particular facility. So module means in case of Python, you have studied there are so many modules. If we want to use some module, then we need to import them. Okay, so we need to import module. So OS module is there that is containing these kind of functions. So one function is there as rename. Suppose that we want to rename a particular file. A file is there and we want to rename it. So how we can rename it? Like file4.txt is there and we want to rename it like that. What is the problem? Actually, these both the files are already existing. And you can see over here, file 3 and file 4 is there. Even file 5 is there. Suppose that file 3 is there. This file 3, something is there in the file 3. Like this we have written in the file 3. Okay, something file in the save. File 3 is there. Then Okay, suppose that file 3 is there and we want to change the name of file 3 like file kp. Then in that case, os dot rename. So this function rename belong to the os module. Okay, so os dot rename we can do like this. You can see. Now you can see file kp. So we have renamed this particular file. Now you cannot see over there file 3 is not there. It is renamed. Okay. Now removing the file, we can remove the file also. So how we can remove? So one function is there, remove, import os. Oh, this is wrong. Import os dot remove. So file 2 is there. If something like file 2 is there, this is file 2. Okay. Then we can remove that. If we are using this os remove, then we can remove, like here you can see file 2 is removed from here. Okay. So by using this, we can remove also. Now creating the new directory. Directory means the new directory we can create means the folder we can create and a file we can create. We have the commands for creating the files. In the similar way, sometime we want to create the directory so that the other files we can store. So what we can do, we can create. So whatever we are creating, basically we are creating in the current directory. Where we are creating in the current directory. However, if you want to create somewhere like in some location, then you can pass the entire path over here. Okay, so like suppose that we are kps new, I'm doing this kps new directory, or like kps new one, I'm doing this. So here you can see the kps new one, our current directory is this one. Here you can see kps new is there and kps new one is there. Okay, so any directory you can create by using this command. One important thing is that sometime you want to know what is the current directory. What is the current directory? So one function is there, get cwd. So cwd, if you are using that, that will return the current directory. So by using that, you can see because our current directory here, you can see our current directory is what is our current directory. This is C users, user, then documents, then Python programming. So this is our current directory. Okay. So if you want to know what is our current directory, so that we can know by using this get cwd command. So if I am using this command, then here you can see this is showing the current directory. So this is the current directory basically. Then if sometime we want to change the directory, change, suppose that I'm working in the current directory, then I want to change the directory. Then chdir method is there. If I'm using that particular method, then I can change the directory. Suppose that my current directory is this one and I want to change somewhere. Suppose you need to see some directory over here like in E. You can see in E, suppose that I'm creating a new folder like KP Sharma, KPS. Okay, KPS is there. So if I want to change directory to this, like here I want to do something, then I can change the directory. Like you can see, this is where E and then KPS. E and then KPS. So this is now become my current directory. E.kps. Suppose that I want to see some or do something over here now, and here suppose that I want to now create some files over here. Suppose that this is some code is there. This is in the reading mode and creating a new file. Suppose that one more file I want to create and I want to write something in this read lines reading file. Where is that? Writing into the file. Suppose that this code I'm using now, and what does that? After that, I'm writing over here. What I'm doing, I'm writing something into the file I'm creating over here, and again, like I'm writing some more things, something like that. Okay, then now this is our current directory. So here you can see we are working because we have changed the current directory. So here you can see we have written something in this. So now this become our current directory. So anywhere by using this command, if you want to change the directory or you want to perform the operation or you want to create the file on some another location, you can do using that. Okay. So suppose that we want to change it again from our from that directory to our current directory, then what is that? What happened? Then we can change again. We can use the current directory, this one. Okay. So now our current directory is now changed. Yes, yes, please tell me.
Sir, changing will this change command, will it change the directory permanently or for that instant only?
No, no, it is changing the directory for that instance only. Because you are restarting it, it will run in the current directory. Current directory
Okay.
means C user documents, Python programming. But
Okay.
for that instance, it will change to that directory. Okay.
Okay.
है ना, अगर कोई wrong directory मान लिया हम दे देते हैं, means wrong path, suppose that fxyz I have given for the change directory. So this directory is not available, then definitely what it will do, it will print an error message. Okay, so it will print an error message because this direction or this directory position is not available. Then obviously sometime we want to delete the directory also, then one command is there, rmdir, and suppose that I want to remove that. So you know, and this is for the removing the directory. Like here you can see in the current directory, Python programming, and this is there. Where is that? KPS new one is there, and we have used the KPS new. And similarly, if I am using the new one, that also we can remove like this. You can see. Okay, so this is all about the file. Okay, so if you are having any query and any question, you can ask. We have completed this exception handling and the file handling in this.
Please share the
आपकी आवाज मुझे नहीं आ रही है, क्या बोल रहे हैं आप?
जो ये आपका जो फॉर्मेट है इसको शेयर कर
हाँ, ये बिल्कुल मैं शेयर कर दूंगा. So this is the from my side, this is complete. Okay. If we have some time, another lectures, then we will cover the rest of the things. But because the time is very limited now. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
Soni, Pooja Soni.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful lecture, and thanks to all the participants. And please join the last session of this workshop tomorrow at the same time. Thanks to all.
Okay, Suresh ji, thank you very much for inviting me in your this lecture series. Really, I have enjoyed a lot in this. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sharma, for joining us and your valuable time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ji. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I will request other participants to stay here for some interaction.
Okay,
Doctor,
sir.
you may
Okay,
leave
sir.
if you like. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay. So I would like to listen your interaction, means your feedback regarding this workshop, because this will help us to understand what's going on, and we may think of conducting such workshop in future also. Though you are writing in the Google feedback form, but if you can say something live, that would be nice. Please switch on your video and give your feedback one by one. Those who want to say something.
Sir, the
Those who
workshop is
want to say something.
Yes, I am waiting for your response.
Sir, the workshop is completely awesome. Especially the first lecture of Dr. Chandra.
First lecture. Okay, good.
Yes, sir, it was very.
Sir, it's very informative and it's very good, nicely conducted. Like all the concepts of object-oriented programming and all, they're very nicely conducted.
Okay.
Very nice session, sir. From first day, it's really fruitful for us. First day's lecture was really very nice lecture because without knowledge of any language, we'll learn many more from this workshop. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. That's the purpose of this workshop, because it's a very user-friendly language, and if you learn it, it will help you a lot.
But I think we need more practice because it's a workshop, sir.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Actually, they have introduced the basics, so now it's up to you how much you
Yeah.
practice and how
Yes.
do you use it. Yeah,
Yes.
Sarah, you want to say
Thank you,
something?
sir.
Sarah is very active all the time.
Yes, so I learned a lot from these sessions and I'm enjoying them. And I am in 6th.
Sixth only. Very good. So who motivated you to join this workshop?
I am Manju ma'am's niece, so she
Yeah, I
told me
know,
that there
I
are these
know.
sessions. So she
Okay.
only motivated me.
Great. We also enjoyed your interactions with the resource persons.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, nice. Anybody else? Your feedback is very important. Please say something.
Sir, is it necessary to fill up the feedback form of each session?
Not necessary. It's up to you. It would be helpful for us if you write
Okay.
something there. Even if you fill it one time, it's fine. No problem.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.